Tropico 6 is Limbic's first Tropico game. How much creative freedom did you have on this project?
I think quite some, but still it's important to match the actual heart of a Tropico game. So of course Calypso is quite eager, and we are as well, that you kind of have that core, that heart right of what makes a Tropico game. Of course, it's a beloved city builder series with this typical tongue-in-cheek humor, which is a bit of a trademark of the game. But around this, there is quite some potential freedom that we have from the designs we wanted to bring in, we can bring in, which are also part of the pitch, of course, that we deliver. That we say, okay, we want to take these core elements as they are, and on this side, like with the islands, the archipelago set up, we want to go a step further and introduce some new mechanics with like raids and world wonders, that you have just a certain extension of some core elements where we can go in a certain direction. But of course, it's then a close collaboration with the publisher, that we work in some guidelines or boundaries they give us.
Was it a big challenge to continue a well-liked series? Is a strong IP a curse or a blessing?
I think it's both. We did it before with Heroes as well, so I think there's some experience. But
And from a level design perspective, it's actually good to have a strong IP, because you already know where the journey will go. So you know how the camera will look like, you know what kind of quests are presented and in what kind of style. So you can add on those things and make it even better than previous installments.
Yeah. So there's quite some reference and things, material, sometimes low history can build up, but you also have this expectation of players that have a pretty clear picture how the next installment should look like and how it will look like. And the question is, how much can you deviate, because you might also fall short on the trap. It's basically the same as before. So there, striking the right balance is quite an interesting and challenging topic. But it's also fun to have this challenge, especially coming from the visual side, to build these worlds that feel familiar but still have this new and interesting and appealing touch.
Can you tell us what makes Tropico 6 a must-play in a Tropico series?
I think it's our core idea, and what we really want to strike home is that it feels like a real Tropico. So we really paid close attention to what the players liked from previous installments, and taking with the best out of it, what we think, what we heard from them, and also what Calypso brought in, so that we have several elements like the era system from Tropico 5. We take the work modes and the election speeches from Tropico 4, and take, aside from several other elements, we build upon this, taking it from one island to multiple islands, a whole archipelago, finally realizing that El Presidente needs, of course, more than just one island, and adding some other more cheeky or bold actions like these raids and heists that you can steal landmarks and world wonders, which gives it, I think, a pretty interesting spin.
What was the initial reasoning to use RTC Draft for this project? Did anyone from the team had prior experience with the tool?
Yeah, we both had, but actually, right.
Early when we started at Limbic, there was some drafts already done with RTC Draft, showing a story flow. And later on we introduced it again, basically for Tropico 6 to use it. And
I remember it quite vividly when we had back in our level design room, this massive white wall where I kind of started printing out just mission sheets connecting with red wire, literally. And we said, okay, we need to move it to digital format with Legacy. And knowing from where we're coming, then we evaluated if it would work for Tropico. And we decided to go for it, especially because we're working together with an external writing team, and there the collaboration, coordination makes it easier if you have that one clear tool that allows you to have access from different parts, versioning, and some clear one go-to point for all the text you want to store and manage.
So you are primarily using RTC for the text in the game?
Actually, for Tropico 6, it's not just text and story. It's because our story is related to the quests. So we would put also the quest objectives and the tasks, and also what you get out as a reward from those quests you do. And also we have different quests and notifications, and raids have their different pop-ups. So we wanted to use RTC Draft to also showcase this and have a quick overview of what is happening actually.
Yeah, I think for city builder we're quite story heavy and have different elements which require different kinds of texts. And for one, to store them, but also to have a good visualization. What type of text is it? How can you link it? And how to are certain elements combined was one of the reasons we went for Articy.
How do you use RTC Draft in your daily work?
So when we got an idea how the quest should look like, we would make all the boxes in RTC Draft and also all the dialogues already with the right speakers in it. And they're blank in the first place. And then we export it to the writers. So the writers can work in their favorite writing application to just fill it out. And then we import it to RTC Draft. Then the LD goes in and checks everything is done. So we can implement it in Unreal Engine and also link it then with localization key. So we have the text in Unreal Engine and the game.
Yeah, and of course there in the very first setup, or the interesting challenge for us was how do we define the certain text boxes, flow fragments, and so on, create certain like templates and features that work the way we needed to have, and work with the custom tool we use to bring it into the engine, building, and then coming from that, it's the daily work as Monica described it. Yeah.
What is your favorite part of the game?
So many. You want to start?
Actually, I like a lot when you finally reach the end era, basically the modern times, and then you're really free to do everything. Like you can make your really green country and you can place everything where you want. So usually I would have already a lot of money stacked for this. I demolish everything I don't want and then place new buildings and it looks exactly like I want. That's what I enjoy the most.
Yeah, for me it's a bit of like a combination of certain fun features because Tropico is a lot of like this light-hearted entertainment. So we had some moments where we were like stealing a world wonder, like the Eiffel Tower basically fly in. You see in the foreground a small character, because all of our Tropicans are fully simulated, was just about to rob a drunk person who just came out of the bar, while this like massive monument in the background was visible, and just these small little moments you experience in the game when you're like watching closely. That's, I think, yeah, for me, a big thing where to draw some joy from, definitely.